Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's cast of the Spy Party Competitive League. Today, we are going to be covering an Oak Division match between Atia and Phillammon. Joining me this morning is my co-caster, Catnip.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone.
Yeah, it's morning for me, and I'm realizing it's a hard habit to break to say good evening. Like, I think this is the first time I've had to start a cast by saying good morning, and I had to actively make an effort to say the right word. But it's only morning for me, so.
Well, that happens once in a while. I think the overall manners is what's appreciated, even with time zones are rough. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, plus it's morning, so I'm just waking up.
Yeah.
All right. So this match is Philammon's competitive debut. That's why we're all here. We're excited to see it, but we're also excited to see more of Atia, who just had their first match last week and pulled out a victory 7-5, and so is currently in the top half of the Oak scoreboard.
Yeah, so Philemon joined a bit later, and thus it is his first match. I believe he will have a catch-up match to do later, as the rules go. Um,
Philemon joined at the start. He just had a bye on week one because Oak had
oh, right.
5 players in it.
Right, I see. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I've seen him being active in Discord. I believe he has done some casting as well. So it will be interesting to see him on the player side as such. And um, for Ata, I'm just excited to more female players coming into Spy Party, and because she did win the first match, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think she also once beat Iggy the Grifter in a team battle segment.
Oh, that puts things into perspective.
Yeah, and both of these players, of course, are just constantly on Discord, constantly watching streams, constantly learning a lot. So I would expect to see some pretty high skill plays here, even though we are in the lowest division in the league. So let's take a look at the picks and bans here. Uh, Last time in Adia's previous match, they chose to ban Tayen. And so we'll see what they do this time. We first have Philemon banning first. Phil has chosen to ban Redwoods. And Atia indeed goes with Tayen.
Yes, same as in week one. That's kind of expected. Potentially one of those maps where player decides, nope, I do not want to play this. And in return, Philemon restricts Veranda. Um, and Ata has restricted Ballroom, which she did in week one as well.
Yeah, for Philemon, I think that makes sense. There's a lot of newer players who express having difficulty on Veranda because, it's very, very big. So I'm not too
Yeah, there's
surprised.
there's definitely a lot to try and take notice of.
And so then we have the doubled picks coming in. Philemon has chosen to double Library, and Adia is going to be doubling High Rise.
Yeah, once again, from Aria, at least we see the same tendencies as in week one, because that was her double pick too. So we start seeing a certain preferences, even as early as week two.
And then Philemon is going to decide to take advantage of Adia's potential weakness on Ballroom. He's going to single pick it. Meanwhile, Adia is going to be singling Terrace.
Yeah, and as we see in chat, Philemon says that High Rise is his most hated map, so that's gonna be even more interesting to see how those 4 games pan out.
Yeah, I mean, if you hate High Rise, I'm also wondering how you feel about Terrace, because Adia has picked both of the, 3 of X venues here. Well, both of the ones with inspects available.
Right.
Pub is sort of a different beast nowadays.
Yeah, and I think just map size and layouts they're quite similar. So Yeah, that seems to be sort of going into one direction against Phillammon. So, as you very well pointed out, this may be a significant factor.
All right, well, with that, we will jump into the games. We'll be getting started here on Library. Our first spy is going to be Atia, and she's going to be starting off immediately playing as Smallman. Let's get
Yes.
started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, for a moment I thought she was Pearl from this still, so I was afraid how she would do as a solo character on such a big map.
Oh yeah,
But then,
same for me. When I first loaded it up and I just saw the frozen image there, I didn't even notice that Smallman was on the screen. So that's basically giving you an idea of what it's like to play as Sniper against Smallman.
yeah, we start idling a little bit and then picking up a printable briefcase.
All right, this briefcase is kind of right in the middle of the venue. The camera's not focusing on us too much, and we're kind of returning it here with the Amba behind the pillar, so it's not the most noticeable briefcase, but likely we are credited with a fingerprint this early.
Yeah, and then we move on straight on to next mission progress with inspect on the left side.
Yeah, so we're getting soft tell progress. The only thing is we're not getting the flirt started. The seduction target is all the way on the other side of the venue. Also, the seduction target is Orange Sari, which means that if she starts moving before we get to her, we could actually be in trouble starting the flirt that late.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would have preferred starting flirt, but then again, Atia ended up on the far left side of the screen and managed to, at least what it seems, managed to get away with inspect early. So that's something that may come in play later. We do start with the flirt now, so at 33% healthy progress.
Yeah, I
That
don't think we're being watched very much so far. We just have these soft tells. We're over here on the side of the venue. We're nowhere near any other mission sites at the moment, so I don't think we're majorly on the sniper's radar. It's just going to be a question of if Phillammon is able to shoot for a soft tell finish later.
Yeah, it seems Philemon is mostly just looking around for the ambassador and just loosely going around the party, trying to notice perhaps something in one on another spot. We should be looking into getting a second flirt soon enough, I believe.
Here's a fake contact coming out, actually. I
In the
don't
internet.
know why Atia's going for this. There are a lot of people in these other conversations, but unfortunately we do have an SDA with us. One conversation over there does get low lit for not having a real banana bread, but because we have Taft as the SDA here, that's not going to happen to us. But that means, unfortunately, Atia hasn't gotten a ton of value out of this banana bread, and Phillammon has a significant advantage because the narrowing down of the party that he did was correct.
Yeah, I believe it may have been action priorities potentially because we did flirt right after oh, a wrong shot comes off potentially for a suspected bug.
Let's go back and take a look at what we were seeing from Kane there in those last moments. Kane is already a highlight, presumably for going to statues. And we'll see if he takes a path near the ambassador. Yeah, he does a weird stutter, and then he just goes from one spot in the conversation to another one. It looks like a bug.
I see. Yeah, definitely very suspicious. I believe what happened there is, if you can see, he turned leftwards, and then Boots blocked his path, so he repathed, and his repathing just ended up being back in the same convo. I do not blame this shot, considering that the repathing ended up not just in the same convo, but next to Ambassador.
Yeah, that's very, very understandable. Now, personally, I think spies are sort of unlikely to go for a play like that, to start walking not even half a step and then redirect. Usually, if a spy is trying to get low lit or look AI like with a redirect, they'll take at least a few steps first because they won't trust that you'll see it if they only do like half a step. And also, I
Right.
just don't know if spies are usually bold enough to go bug the ambassador by moving to the same conversation.
Oh, some of them definitely are. It just depends on specific players sometimes. But yeah, do not blame that shot. It just happens to be incorrect one, even though for logical reasons. And Adia is up by 1 point.
All right, let's get into our next game. We have Phillammon here playing as Bling Twin, starting in three, two, one, playing it.
Okay, so we did get a potential chaos bug because we spawned next to the ambassador. But it was center of the map, laser was on us, so it makes sense it was not taken. Plus, potentially not enough time to get it, to take the control and do that. Instead, we go to center statues.
Yeah, that means we're going to be picking up a big highlight really early. I hope we're able to finish inspecting the statues, but we're not because Wheels has one of them. In fact, we came out of that with only one inspect somehow. The thing is, I don't think that Adia really would know if we were able to get all three inspects or not. I don't think that's something Adia will be particularly thinking about. So we will have to go to statues again at some point. It could make us look less suspicious for going back if she thinks we already have three.
Yeah, it was early in the game, so there was a lot of things to look at, but now both twins are highlit for visiting the same statues set, and I believe we did have a time ad in the beginning of the game, so at least that will help us with that needed second statue visit later.
Yeah, I think there might be some other suspects for the time ad. I could be crazy, but I felt like the laser was showing some safety off on Orange Sorry.
It wasn't the middle conversation. Yeah, I don't think I at least was able to figure out which ones the.
Well, here we are, starting our first flirt over at the blue bookshelf. Again, it's a little bit late to be starting the flirt, and here we go. We get neutral lit. That's probably Adia realizing that they have both twins highlit, and they have to make a decision on which one is less suspicious. And for whatever reason, Adia decided that that was us.
That's my assumption too. It's really confusing to have both twins at the same level of of lights of any kind. We did get the first bird, but we do need a second one. Instead, we go to finish statues.
Well, I don't think there's any harm in this. You were already at center statues earlier, so you might already have credit for three inspects, so I think at that point it's better to just get them out of the way early. I think we waited a decent amount, enough of time between them that it looks fairly natural. It doesn't look like a spy just going to statue because they feel they can.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of too early to be finishing statues to look suspicious for it, as it were. I just know I've been messed up by flirts not happening. So I like to see constant progress. We do have it now at 85%, which means any non-red flirt will do later.
Yeah, and there was a lovely walking bug as Pearls was passing behind the pillar. I'm surprised that we were able to get that bug. Usually, a bug walking in the opposite direction of the ambassador wouldn't even take, but Pearls is slow enough for it to work. This is why there are some people who always pick Pearls as the ambassador just so they can get those walking bugs.
Yeah, and while Arya was looking for that bug, yes, we purloined while Atia was looking for the ambassador bug, and we just gulped and left. And the thing is, the purloin was checked right before we took when we were being offered, and we were not seen with a drink in hand. So OG gets shot instead for being the purloin suspect in that conversation.
Yeah, and I do think there were safety offs on Orange Sari earlier. Interesting to note, though, just looking at this, Orange Sari is not in a position where she could have been offered a drink at this point. I just don't think that Toby has room to get behind her there.
That is correct. Yes, for Orange Dress and potentially even Oprah, Toby would not have enough space. But Toby did go around the conversation, so perhaps Atia thought that the direction was going clockwise, and therefore OJ would be the most likable suspect. It's a speculation only, but
All right, well, that's two Civ shots. We are now tied 1-1, and we'll head into our next game here with Adia playing as Disney, getting started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
yeah, we start at the blue bookshelf. We got a spawn for it. Not sure yet if we're gonna do anything with it. There is the seduction target and the nearby convo, so that seems like a good opportunity to start that action going, and we do take the book with us. So will be interesting to see if we do something with it later.
Yeah, I think Adia might have wanted to do something clever at the bookshelf, either a microfilm or just immediately ripping the book out, but unfortunately the ambassador passed by right as we were doing it, and you just don't ever want to do anything when you're on screen in the same spot as the ambassador. Here's an interesting thing though, highlights on all three of us in this conversation. Do you think Phillammon might be tracking flirts?
I don't know if it's flirts necessarily in this case. It may be just a bit of a peculiar spacing in the convo because we were a bit crammed more towards the twin, and usually AIs tend to try and space out evenly.
Yeah, I
I'm,
think
I'm
it
not.
could be that he noticed the book grab and then he noticed that the person who took the book immediately jammed themselves in between two people, and so he might be highlighting to try to remember them.
Yeah. We are back in the same conversation for more flirt. So if our assumption about Philemmon's lights in that convo are correct, we may get paired up.
Yeah, and the other indication, of course, will be if he ever lowlights the other person who we were next to when we jammed ourselves in. Do you remember who that was?
One of the twins.
All right, there's a white purloin though, so we're in the seduction spot. We've white purloined. The only good thing was the list wasn't being noticed. Toby was kind of behind a pillar, and by the time Phillammon sees it, Toby is all the way across the venue. Philammon's camera just going all over the place at this point. I don't think that Phillammon knows where that purloin came from.
It does seem like he thinks it wasn't that convo because he keeps going back to it. It seems we're getting, I wouldn't call it laser burn, but like it's pretty clear where Philemon's suspicions are at this.
Yeah, when there's someone you suspect of the purloin, but they've been in the same spot for like literally the past 2.5 minutes, it can be hard to be sure of yourself because, yeah, maybe Disney could have done the purloin, but maybe he's just literally an AI who did a correct book return and has not moved in 2 minutes. But if we have any suspicion of Disney, this should seal it in. Going to center statues here. I'm very curious to see if Philammon's going to notice it. But Philammon's not bringing his sniper camera over to that side. Now he finally does. Now Disney is getting laser burned. I wonder if we're just going to see a shot immediately for the center inspects. It's not, but we are looking for a swap. Swap has not happened though, so Adia is in the clear for now.
I love the addition for now there. I think that's very much the key word there because if not the main suspect, Disney does seem to be on the top of the list of those.
Well, there hasn't even been a contact yet, come to think of it. So, I don't know. Getting away with 2 more missions at this point seems unlikely. Getting away with just the contact seems like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, if we had only one left, I agree contact would be a potentially decent choice, but it's still questionable a bit. Bug would not be a good option because Philemon seems to be monitoring that quite
Banana bread.
well. There's banana bread incoming. We get one low light only. RDA left, so it seems that, not necessarily a real. So perhaps that lowers some suspicion.
Yeah, Philemon didn't really dwell on the left side that much. I think they were looking around the party trying to get lowlights, and they weren't really able to because it was a pretty good BB with almost everyone in conversation and all of the conversations had people in them all throughout the whole venue. Atia now has 15 seconds left to get one more mission done. There aren't many options here. It looks like it's going to be a swap. That means this is going to go into overtime, and if Phillammon has any lingering suspicion of Disney, you have to be watching him right now. But Philammon's not watching. Phillammon was guarding the ambassador and takes a shot on Pearls, never even sees us at the statues.
I would provide some more yells, but my reaction was more in the sense that I wasn't sure what to say. I was just sitting there, open my mouth, with my mouth open. The thing is, we were not even noticed at those statues, and we quickly stopped trying to get away. But we stayed at the statues afterwards, supposedly to block the view, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that was it. We did incorrectly put this statue down, though. I am noticing that, and I think that's because we didn't want to be seen lifting it over our heads. We didn't want any risk of that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm trying to look at what Pearl. So she does a statue visit. And then
She did have the
does
contact,
not bug.
maybe.
Yeah, I suppose we got overtime and we just shot the last statue visitor we saw at that point. It's just a bit unfortunate for Philammon that his laser was on the right side for quite a while during the late game, and therefore we missed that visit by Atia.
Or you could say it was on the wrong side. So we have Philammon starting here as Smallman in 3, 2, 1, playing it. So far, we've seen 3 civilian shots. I think these snipers may be a little nervous. Philammon was actually on to Disney and was correctly watching him for a swap earlier. Just seems to have forgotten about him by the end.
Yeah, I will admit, Disney there did idle for a little bit, for a decent amount of time to lower suspicions, or at least, to cause enough distraction or focus on other party goers, and that worked well for Aria. Um, yeah, I wonder if Philammon's pick as Penguin as Smallman here was deliberate because that was Atia's first spy. Or perhaps it could be just Smallman on library. We do get the first statue visit, and we may not even be noticed for it because we are Smallman.
Yeah, I don't think you could see us there behind Sick at all. Even if you were looking for it, it would be very, very hard to see. So we've swapped that statue. We didn't get any inspects. And now we're hiding here behind Teal and Sick some more. So hopefully
I
we
love
can...
them.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just love that play. We swap. We're not even seen in that corner initially. Then we go back to Flirt. We sadly don't get it. For some reason we. Oh no, sorry, our flirt wasn't Sig this time. So we just get back to the convo, to mask ourselves from even being on that side, and now we've gone away with a hardtail. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think there was any chance that we were seen at that statue, and I like that we hit again. It let us pick a time to sneak out so that the sniper doesn't even really think about the fact that we were on that half of the venue. I think Atia is probably very confused right now. Philammon taking advantage of that to go for a purloin. It's going to be a green. Here we have Kane, a low light, taking it, but Atia still isn't looking over. Finally, the camera pans over. The list is gone. It's clear as day, but Smallman is nowhere near it. Smallman was nowhere near the swap. There's no reason to suspect him for either of these missions. And at this point, I'm going to be expecting to see another Civ shot. And this time, I won't blame it on nerves. I will blame it on fantastic spy play.
Yeah, and we could potentially even get away with the bug here. Um, the thing is, so unless Philemon, we could still have the case where Philemon gets a little bit nervous and think he's really suspicious, and then just ends up timing out. But no, because a civilian shot happens instead, just like you said. I think with having the swab happening, with having Purloin happening, we just get a little bit frazzled, and who wouldn't? and end up taking a civilian shot even before the banana bread. Perhaps we thought he microfilmed.
It's possible. There's not really any other reason to shoot there unless you think he could be flirting with Disney. I think the important thing to remember in a case like this, though, is Swap and Purloin are still only two missions. The flirt might not be done at 2 minutes 50 seconds. Most spies don't have it done by that point. And there also has not been a contact. So the only mission count you would have that would let you shoot someone at this point would be if you thought they had Purloin, Swap, you missed the bug, and they've flirted, and they have inspects or fingerprints. So I do think there's some merit in staying calm and waiting a little bit longer for a shot.
Yeah, I remember KCM always used to tell me that, hold your shot. You even if you see something big, you don't have to shoot now because spy isn't finishing. So I think this kind of quality and aspect is something that some of the players across all divisions can have, and the thing is, right after the game, you see your mind is calm, you can think straight, and you can, even 3 seconds later realize, oh, I could have waited for something else. But in game, especially in competitive game, where even not as nervous players can still get sort of in the moment need to make decisions, you can easily forget that, and you just go for that. So that patience comes with practice and experience, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was very good spy play as well. So
Very
absolutely
well
no
done, yeah.
shame in taking a wrong shot here. There's also some merit in, if you've missed those hard tells, knowing that you have to take a shot on someone even if you're not certain about it. So,
Right, because he's being aggressive, right? So who knows, like who who knows what else he could have done in this time with such aggressive gameplay overall.
all right, so we are going to be moving on now to the doubled high rise. This was Atia's pick. They were more comfortable with the smaller venues. Let's see how they do spying here as Ponytail, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I will be. Well, I already am quite interested to see how this map pans out in terms of results. It's very different from library, very different tactics. I would say this is more about behavior and sort of mind games, but we saw in the game just before this, we saw that was very well executed by Phillammon. We just have innocent conversation talk and go to visit a statue.
Yeah, when I think about what caused those civilian shots on Library, I think I'm mostly attributing it to the fact that Library was just a really big venue. There was a lot to keep track of, and there were a lot of hard tells to be potentially missed. So this is just a completely different dynamic. I do notice though that we have Bug and Purloin on. I think that's the correct move. Um, it's already been shown that these players are maybe going to have difficulty catching some hard tells if they're not looking at the right spots at the right time. So I think that's a good choice over fingerprints. I've also think I've heard a lot of people say that you might not want fingerprints on if it's a newer sniper because they might not even know if an AI has finished fingerprints, so you might not even
Right.
get civilian shots out of it anyway.
Fair. I think this is one of the sort of two main methods. Do you leave swap purloin on microfilm, or do you leave swap microfilm and fingerprint? We do get the real banana bread, which would give Phillammon two lowlights. Not great on high rise, but not horrible either. We do have good flirt progress. We have the statue inspect. Thing is, second statue inspect is almost always quite risky on high rise, especially if done late in the game, and we are a little bit getting to that side.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get the 2 flirt. I mean, 2 flirt is very powerful. If we had the flirt finished, we could go back to statues right now and dare the sniper to take a shot before there's even a minute left on the clock. But unfortunately, we will need to get another flirt. I think it's a good thing that the seduction target left. It's going to make the timer go down a little bit faster. But instead of waiting for it, we have to go return our book here. We know that we need to get inspect done sometime in the next minute. That would be very hard to do with a book in our hands, so we want to get rid of it. And even though I'm sure we're dying to slam it in, we are following the proper etiquette. While we do so, the seduction target heads on over to this other spot in conversation. Adia's going to have to make a decision. Do they want to go for the inspects, or do they want to go for the flirt? Atia decides to go for the inspects first. I think that's a good move. You don't want to be doing the inspects last. And we're getting
We get
low
flawless.
lit for it. And I think this is because Phillammon didn't notice us at the first statues on the side at the start. That's why we weren't a highlight. And so Phillammon thinks if this AI is going to side statue at 25 seconds left, they're not going to finish inspect. What spy would be doing that? So they gave Atia the low light, and that means Atia is able to enter this conversation, get the flirt. It is going to go into overtime. There's no one at statues, so who are you going to shoot if there's overtime? I don't think we were even expecting it. We just take a shot on anyone in conversation who's talking, and that turns out to be no one. We don't take a shot after all, but it would have been on
Yeah,
Boots.
yeah, we almost do. We would have done it on Boots for a late talk, which makes sense. And yeah, I agree with your reasoning. At first, I was surprised by that Lola. I thought perhaps it's because she didn't bug or something. But then I was thinking the same as you were commenting. It's something I have not directly encountered before. So now this is an interesting point to get for myself. So aside from having fun in casting, I learned something. That's good. That does put Aria 3-2 up, and I think we see a little bit different spy play here than in library. At least from Phillammon, rather sniper play in that case. From Phillammon, he felt the decisions were a little bit better in library, and here we see a single missed statue can matter so much. But it's only the first game, so I'm maybe getting ahead of myself.
All right, let's get started with Philammon's first high-rise spy game, playing as Ponytail as well, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We spawn right next to Ambassador. We do have a drink in our hand, and I'm not sure if we could have tried the bug there. But we didn't, perhaps for the better. Laser, it was more or less under laser view. I'm also noticing Philammon's spy choice. So we had double penguin, because that was the opponent. Previous spy, now we have the same with Alice or ponytails. I may be suspecting those are deliberate.
Yeah, meanwhile, the flirt's already up to 74%. The seduction target came to the painting pad with us at the start. We were able to get a nice 20-ish% flirt. We take this bug attempt while pathing here. Unfortunately, we started the bug a little bit too late, so we were not able to get it. But I don't think it was seen. We hit that green flirt in conversation, so the seduction is up to 74%. And we've already got some mission progress. We try another bug. This one doesn't work. This one looks like it was seen. The laser completely panned over, but no shot coming from Atia.
Yeah, and even if you don't see the attempt there, you probably start giving suspicion because it's the second walk like that within a short amount of time. And it's something you mentioned earlier about the spy versus ambassador choices and their speed. So Alice is the fastest player, the fastest character, and therefore you may need to time your bug attempts a little bit differently, and that's why we see those failing in this game. We are in great position, though, I'd say. Yeah, I didn't even manage to continue. We had great mission progress, but instead wheels just get shot for, I assume what has to be a purloin suspicion.
Yeah, Philemon in chat letting us know, feeling a little bit tilted from the bugs not working, so just went for a purloin. But it works out, shot goes on someone else. I had gone back and looked at that bug actually the second attempt, and even though the sniper was rotating, they didn't make it there in time, so that second attempt was still occluded by a screen. So Phillammon was actually not credited with either of those bug attempts, I think. So he was in a much better position than he thought he was.
Um, yeah, so we've seen a lot of sim shots so far. I believe it's been only one mission's win in just that earlier in High Rise. Other than that, it's been all civilian shots, hasn't
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to change. We have Atia here playing as Queen this time, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
it? Yeah, and I think civilian shots is what we see more in divisions like Oak. I think people in higher divisions are just, I wouldn't even say more cautious, just less experimental. Um, and sometimes it's just more fun to see more action, even though that ends up the way it does. So Alice goes to statue early in the game. That's a good suspect to frame. If Fadia is looking for that.
Yeah. There are different kinds of civilian shots, though, because there's a civilian shot out of nowhere on someone who, hasn't necessarily done anything. And then there's some of the civilian shots we saw, which were, one of them was it's overtime, we're shooting someone who's at statues,
Yep,
which is basically like a mission win for the spy. And similarly, when Philammon got away with the purloin and the swap and a civilian got shot, that's also, that would have been a mission win for the spy because they did get away with two hardtails.
fair enough. Uh, so I think Alice is our main suspect at the moment because she does have full statues right now. We could have gone for the bug if not for the drink in our hand. Um, that would have been a lovely mission progress because it was completely off screen. Instead, we chill and wait for our ST to come into one of the conversations, I believe.
Yeah, there's Alice, though. She's off at the side finishing statues. This time she does have the highlight. Hopefully she is noticed there. Oh, we're taking a low light here. Do you think it's just for how we handled this briefcase?
Perhaps, or perhaps also Phillammon did not check the mission setup and assumed it's the same mission, and we get low light for taking a briefcase when fingerprint is off. That's once again just speculation, but could be an idea.
Well, here we are going for the inspects. Now, my worry with this is if you have partial inspects, partial seduce, partial fingerprint, that indicates that you might not be going for a contact. Which for me is sad because I want to see us contact with Alice in. There's another bug attempt. Still, the timing was not correct for either of these spies. They've gone for the same bugs. They haven't gotten them. But just like last game, we also are not credited with it. We are still a lowlight after all.
Yeah, and we do manage to finish our flirt. We have two other mission progress, um, and we are low, though of course we may not assume that. But it's still nice to have progress. We do go to finish those statues. I don't think we're getting shot here.
No, we're not getting shot, but we will still need one more fingerprint or a contact. The good news is the double agent is in conversation. The good news is the safety is coming off on Ponytail, and we are going to do a contact right now, hopefully. And Ponytail is talking during it. It's going to go into overtime, and she is going to be shot.
I do not blame that at all. Um, Oh goodness, that is. I don't know if Aria was on Alice because she finished the full statues quite early. She even went there 3 times total. I think we may have just wanted a real banana bread, but dang, it paid off well.
Yeah, and Philammon was confirming in chat that he didn't realize that fingerprints were on, so that is what led to Queen getting a low light for picking up the briefcase. Which honestly is valid. Spies do not pick up the briefcase when fingerprints are not on.
Some of them do, but once again, it depends on a player, depends on sometimes on division, as it were.
Well, they
But
only
yeah,
start doing it once they realize that spies don't do it and that they should therefore do it. That's how SpyParty
fair enough.
works. Yeah.
Fair enough. It's all the changing and the triple bluffs and the like. Oh, he knows that. I know that. You know all that. All that shebang. Yeah, we still keep seeing civilian shots. Which is an interesting tendency for the match. I am almost regretting to see that one spy mission went as a combo breaker.
Yeah.
As funny as it sounds.
All right, let's get started with the next high-rise game here. We have Phillammon playing as Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it. But,
So yeah,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go.
So yeah, we see these games being quite split, despite the fact that it's one player's double pick and another player's double pick. That bug attempt was quite visible, wasn't it? We get a highlight for it. Okay. Um. So yeah, I don't know if the bug attempt was seen as such.
It's pretty visible when we look at it here on the instant replay, but we never know what the sniper's eyes are looking at.
Yeah, it's just one of those. If you clearly saw it, you probably would shoot, but at the same time, perhaps uh, it's something what we mentioned a bit earlier. It's early in the game. It's at most one mission. I don't need to shoot now.
No, I
So
think
I don't.
Atia suspects it though, so I
Yeah.
think as long as Atia can remember why she highlit Twin, she should be okay. But of course, we saw in the earlier game where Phillammon highlit Disney early that sometimes you forget what you highlit them for.
Yeah, or the spy, especially if the spy realizes they are highlight and that they are suspicious, they just idle for a lot of time and then sniper, they have not done anything else, so probably not the spy. It's always sort of 50-50, right? If the idol, do they know I know about them and just try to lose heat, or do they actually are not doing anything because they don't need to?
Yeah, I like that we stayed in this conversation here with the other twin, the SDA. It looked like a very unspy-like position. But then we move over here next to the seduction target. We talk immediately. We double talk into a contact. And we cough, which means
Oh,
we lose the suspense of if Adia would have shot for the bug. Instead, Adia just sees the cough, I think. I mean, the laser just jerked over there. But of course, like you said, she remembers you definitely do not need to shoot for a cough, because a cough means a mission did not get done.
yeah, but at the same time, if you're very positive and very sure of who caused, but once again, we see where the laser is, not where the sniper's eye.
Alright, well, I like this decision to go for inspects. I mean, we're in a really bad spot. Okay, wait, I like the decision for one inspect. Going for two of
Yeah.
them, this is a bit dangerous right now. I'm surprised we haven't been shot yet, but we are in mission win countdown here. Adia should have seen the bug. She should have seen the cough. Okay, she did. I was getting a little bit worried.
Yeah, it's. I think we even put the statue back a little bit too early. It looked a little bit janky. But yeah, very called for shot. It's one of those shots where it was brewing from after the first 10 seconds of the match, and it's like, come on, we all know you're probably gonna do it, and we were all just waiting for it, expecting for it to happen.
Yeah, and so Philemon was letting us know that he did want to go for the real contact there, but when the double agent left, that's why he changed it into a cough. Um, I'm going to
Right.
assume that's just nerves, because whether you cough or whether you banana bread, it's completely the same effect. It's only people in conversation who could do it, so coughing is not better than just uttering banana bread.
All right. Fair enough. And we also got information in chat that the idea did not see the cough, which is interesting. And makes the shot even more impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you the sniper never sees the things that you think they saw. Definitely a
I mean,
lesson to keep in mind.
it's always much easier for us because we see the green triangle.
Of course. And also, remember, if the sniper saw the egregious hardtail, you're dead anyway. So you might as well play as if they didn't see it, you know? You have nothing to lose.
That's an interesting logic. I'm not sure if I want to implement it or not, but I like of someone having that. That's
Hmm.
valuable.
Not sure. God, I don't know what to make of what you just said about what I just said. Let's move on to ballroom here. This is Atia spying as Orange Sari. She is in the lead now. However, this was not her pick. This was her restriction. So she's really hoping that Phillammon can't catch back up with 2 more points. Starting in three, two, one, playing it.
We start as Orange Surrey. Seem to be next our seduction target, and we do follow her to the bookcase. Luckily we don't have the standard dilemma of oh wait, okay, we started took a step a bit too late. I was saying we do not have the germ dilemma of do I flirt first or do I take the book first because we had the drink in our hand covered for that time. We do get a green flirt of 51%, so that's a great start. And I don't think snipers pair per flirts that early.
No, my God, I love it when you have a drink when you go to flirt at a bookcase and you just get to sip and flirt at the same time. It feels fantastic. And yet, we have been highlit for this. Just for being at this bookshelf, we didn't even microfilm. I wonder what this highlight is for.
Perhaps we missed the drink, and then therefore OJ seems to have spent there quite a lot of time. Or who knows? The thing is, we do have highlight early in the game, and we have only half a mission, so that's gonna be interesting to see later.
Yeah, well, this is a way to get mission progress done. We are over here at the center statues right now. Philemon confirming in chat that the highlight is because he felt that Orange Sari was at the bookshelf for too long and he wasn't sure if maybe she broke the animation to put the book back. So the
Right.
fact that someone who's already a highlight now goes to center statues, and if you're continuing to watch her, she goes from center statues to somewhere that very well could be a flirt. Unfortunately, we didn't even get the flirt. If Philemon was watching that, he is going to have the flirt pair now. It's going to be really dangerous to finish it. It could just be dangerous to finish missions at all, since we are still the only highlight in the entire party.
Yeah, no one else is going to statues either. At least I don't think. It's rough. I feel the pressure that Atya must be at the moment. From Sniper's point of view, it's we do get the second flirt, so it's at 85%. That's good progress. We do have only 1 minute left, and assume we end up finishing flirt, we still need 2 more missions.
Yeah, and we are playing as a very slow character. To get more missions done with just 50 seconds left, I'm really worried about this. We're going to be returning the briefcase. This just takes so much time. We do enter here with the double agent, and the conversations are remarkably full for a contact that we're basically just going for out of desperation with no time left. That's pretty good. It's good that we're not being shot immediately. Never mind, there's the shot. Yep, we were the top suspect. That shot was incoming for sure. Philemon was just taking a moment to consider.
Yeah, we're not shot immediately, but right after that. It's weird that so you have full statues, you have contact. I suppose seduction target was caught, or you can assume flirt later at this point. And we had only one fingerprint, so I suppose Philemon assumed some sort of fourth mission, or just he was so certain of his suspicion that he decided, yeah, that adds up even more to her being the spy, and therefore she got the bullet.
Yeah, and this was the only contact with a double agent in it, and of course we are talking
Right.
during it, which by the time Philammon panned over to look, we were still talking. So I think that's why he took the shot. And he had good instincts this time.
Yeah, very well done. I'm seeing quite a lot of good decisions, and sometimes, even if those are mistakes, I can see decent logic behind those. So it's nice to see that from new players. Makes you look forward to future matches and similar experience.
All right, let's get started here with Philammon's spy game playing as Orange Sari, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, Philammon has to be doing spy choices like that on purpose. It's the third time. It's just too many coincidences at this point, I'd say.
Yeah, so
Or perhaps it's just, I don't know.
well, from Philammon, what I'm looking for here is some more of the clever spy play that we saw on Library. Compared to High Rise, I think we saw that Philammon definitely has some good instincts for how to pull off hardtails without being seen. So Ballroom should be another playground to see him pull some stuff off. Will be hard to pull off hardtails though when we've picked up the highlight at the start for inspects.
Yeah, it does feel like Philemon is a bit more confident on bigger maps.
Whoa! What?
What
What?
happened there? Did we phantom a microphone transfer? He was
That's gotta be it.
so Disney was in the right-ish conversation, the right back conversation. Um, let's see. So he starts at the painting, goes into that convo. Um, has already a book in hand. So that he took that book in earlier in the game. It has to be just a ghost direct transfer for that, I think, right?
Yes, but also remember, he is the seduction target, and he got red flirted, so he slammed the book in.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah. So there's the intentional red flirt from Philammon to get the seduction target shot. That was Philammon's plan, and he executed it perfectly, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, hashtag calculated.
Totally. Well, with that, Philemon has gotten 2 points here on Ballroom, and he's caught up to Atia. I thought that might happen. It didn't quite happen in the way that I expected it, but here we are, all tied up, heading into Terrace.
It's exciting.
Yep, this was Adia's pick. Hopefully she can get the 2 points she needs here. She currently has not lost an SCL match. If she wins here, it would be her second 7-5 result in a row. But Philemon hoping to get a week 1 win. Because remember, regardless of how close the scores have been or how many civilian shots there are, we are playing here 4 points in Oak Division, and someone could come out of this a winner. And in the end, that result is all that goes on the scoreboard. It doesn't matter how many civilians you shot, you still get the 2 points if you make it to 7 here. Let's get started here. Atia as Bling Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, so in this case, the swap is off. The layout is 3 of 6. We go into an innocent conversation. And immediately, well, almost immediately, leave it to go and flirt with our seduction target at the bar. Ambassador does come close, so a bug may be tempting, but it would be quite visible. Instead, we direct Pearl. Oh, sorry, we take the delegate. I read the running line. We did get the first flirt, so we go back, and because it's Terrace, we rather go back across our seduction target in the conversation and not next to him.
I think that's
Um,
okay. You have a
yeah,
lot of time to get your flirt done here, especially since you got the first one at the bar. It's also a good conversation to be in. It has a double agent in it. We're looking at Ponytail and Sari, who are over at the bar. Oh no, but now everyone is clearing out. Boots, red dress. This party is constantly shifting at this point. We want things to settle down so that we can get a good contact, and it's starting to look a little better. Ponytail in conversation. Oh god, everyone's just leaving. This party is just not gonna let us have a contact. No one can stay still.
It's the Great Migration of the Nations, or whatever the term in English for the historical event was. Bastard does come right next to us, but is likely to be monitored for the bug. Um, I think we may be paired with Boots because we went next to her in a convo twice, and now she's in the same convo again. Now would be a great time for Banana Bread, and we do have the real DA here in our conversation.
Banana bread.
Yeah, wow, this is the
There we
contact
go.
that I wanted earlier. Everyone is in conversation. There are 4 people who could have a real banana bread there. Boots with a little bit of a stutter step. I wonder if that was noticed. Doesn't look like it. At this point, though, all of the other bar highlights got brought back down except for us. We take a bug, obviously, on screen. The arm comes out. It was plain as day. Phillammon takes the shot.
Yeah, I don't hate the decision there to bug, but I think it was very risky. It's terrace, it's front conversation. I can see what you were doing with the hand. Oh, we probably should have snuggled a little bit closer. It just ended up being too visible.
Yeah, we would need to curve around the ambassador a little bit more. Philemon is letting us know in chat that the highlight was not for bar. The highlight was apparently for behavior. I
Ooh.
think that's interesting. I wonder what that behavior is. All we did was go to the bar, take a drink, and leave. I'm very, very curious what tell Philemon has noticed because I personally can't see anything. Can you?
I don't know. Let's see what weird speculation can I come up with.
Looks like it's
Um,
the conversation exit. He did not like that
yeah,
the twin left their starting conversation really quickly to go to the bar. I actually
yeah,
think that's a very good call, actually, now that I see it pointed out.
yeah. Now that I look back to it, that would have been my assumption as well. It looked weird if you were looking at that convo, and Phillammon was so great starting logic. Um, Decent catch of the bug, and we result in Phillammon getting at least a tie out of this match.
Yep, and we have Philemon, who's going to be spying for the win here now, playing as Teal, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, we
Oh,
go to the. Oh goodness, is that a thing technically? That's a lot of people there.
it's a lot of people. I think it's a valid position. There's room for us here. So at this point, with 4 people there, I think it's okay to fire off the purloin. You know the sniper is going to be tracking the bar, but there's a lot of people, and if they take their eyes off the conversations for even a moment, you might be able to get away with a good purloin. I would wait to send it out for maybe a moment when the ambassador is in danger, just to be certain they can't tell who's sending it. Philemon goes to an empty conversation at first. Now we're joining here. Irish also has a bar highlight. Salmon is between us and her, so we are choosing to send Salmon. Even if
Oh,
Atia is on top of it, she won't know for sure who delegated. It's either us, Irish, or Salmon, who should be narrowed down as the spy. There's a red test, though. The cough, not super visible because our back is to the sniper, but Salmon's going to get low lit at this point.
Banana
We
bread.
coughed. We don't even have the real contact. Now we get the contact. This one's a green. Tex gets shot for some reason. The purloin goes off, but was Tex even an... was Tex was also someone who had a bar highlight, but
yes,
he didn't delegate. Oh my god.
he didn't delegate, but the thing is, if so with bar delegates, that's the thing. Do you remember which position in the conversation was the person who took the purloin, right? And Cowboy was in the same conversation, and when Banana Bread happened, I heard the cough, I knew who the spy was, and even then I did not really see that because of the position and our hand movements overall, right? You can, aside from the sort of abrupt movement, that it's tough to see that it was long. So I can understand that shock.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tex was out of conversation when Salmon got delegated. He was off at statues, but Adia didn't know that. It was hard to see the cough. If you didn't see it, you could assume it's someone who's covered, and Tex was covered. But I will say, Philammon seems to have a habit of canceling his banana breads and turning them into coughs. That's something to look at, I would say.
Fair point. Yeah, fair enough.
Banana
That's
bread.
second by him. Yeah, that's fair enough. But apparently, and I believe in both of those cases, Lillian got shot instead. So perhaps that's the strategy. You know, frazzle the sniper. Um, you make them shoot someone else for other things because you've done a hardtail as well, and that's how you win games, and that's how you win matches.
Yep. So Philemon takes the win. That's a 7-5 victory. It was very close. I am happy to see Philemon take the win, though. He had that fantastic spy game on Library. We saw the amazing intuition he had, able to correctly take the shot on Sari on Ballroom because he noticed her stay at the bookshelf. He had the correct read on the twin here on Terrace, leaving the conversation early to go for the bar. I think those were some really, really fantastic insights and fantastic plays. So I'm happy to see Philemon get the marbles here.
Yeah, I think that Adia had some good plays as well here and there. It's just Philemon had more of them, and we can see that on the result, right? It's the closest win you can get. So well done for both players, but I like Philemon's style. It's the first time I'm me seeing him play and such, and I like his style. I like his sneakiness. He's an entertaining player to watch from this match. So I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah, and as sniper, I mean that's two games where he caught the spy by just noticing what they did, in the first 30 seconds. I think that's an interesting trend, and I hope to see Philemon keep that up and maybe make his opponents think about, just rushing to a mission right away because apparently he will notice it.
Well noted. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Catnip, for joining me this morning. I was really excited to see this set, so I'm glad you were here to join me.
Thank you for having me. I hope I'll get some more proper practice later today before my match, but this is a good sort of warm up for it
Indeed.
as well.
Thanks to everyone who tuned in this early to watch the set. I could have done a cast later this evening, but I wanted to see this and I knew it would be hard to resist, looking at the results all day. And thank you to both of the players for allowing us to cast them, and of course, sometimes for allowing us to criticize their plays. It's all in the spirit of fun, and we just love analyzing this game and always thinking about how to play better. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye bye.